thank you so much for joining us here live, despite the late email. And thank you to everyone joining through the recordings wherever you are. There was so much interest from the last class topic of Shamatha that we thought it would really be of benefit to continue with a part 2. And it's no wonder, because Shamatha is such a crucial foundation of practice, and it's really the sort of on-ramp and facilitator to all other forms of meditation and advanced practices. It assists us in having a good life, a good death, and being a good servant in our community. And so last time, Phuntsok really went into detail about distraction. And distraction not merely being what happens when we're on the cushion trying to meditate, but really the distraction of our lives, this samsaric lens that we habitually see life through, labeling things as pleasant, unpleasant, good, bad, I want, I like, I hate, I, me, everything that we're relating with through the 3 poisons or afflictions. Attachment, aversion, ignorance, and how we're functioning or dysfunctioning from our own misunderstanding of reality and from trauma responses, how all of these go under that category of distraction. And we're so often living in a way that is not in touch with the true nature of reality, with equanimity. So we need to make monumental effort through shamatha to grow the capacity to withstand and overcome our own inner turmoil, so we can cultivate that resilience to single-pointedly pursue genuine happiness, irreversible transformation, so that we can have a worldview that accommodates disharmony and rupture, and then we can really be unshakable. And like all other aspects of the path, shamatha is best learned from a qualified teacher that we have personal trust in, because as many of us probably experienced, there are levels of shamatha and it can get so challenging, and there will be tedious lulls of dullness and attention deficit that we really need to be skillful in navigating out of and through. So we are really grateful to have Phuntsok, and today Phuntsok will take us through how to prepare for shamatha. And today we are really gonna try to stick to that 1 hour and 15-minute format. So I'll pop in with a time check at some point. So Phuntsok, please.
Okay. All right, so I better get started before this hour goes by. So get ready to meditate. I'm gonna guide you this time to a meditation that we've been doing all the time, but this time I'm gonna guide you through it in a slightly different way, but more like instructional. Okay. All right. Most important thing about before we begin to meditate is to have the intention to meditate. This should be a conscious endeavor. Okay, so bring all of your being into this. Communicate to your body that you're going to meditate, communicate to your mind, communicate to your emotions, communicate to your energy that you're going to meditate. Hold in your mind some understanding of what meditation is supposed to be, especially the understanding that is more intuitive understanding of what meditation is supposed to be. So hold that in your mind, hold the intention that you're going to meditate, and begin to feel how your being is responding, how your body is responding to this intention to meditate, how the natural intelligence is guiding you how to hold the body so that you can make the most of this, so you can go as deeply as you can for now, for this moment. So listen to that intelligence as it guides you. How should you arrange your legs? How should you arrange your spine, your arms? How should your hands be? Your head and neck? Should your eyes be closed? Should your eyes be somewhat open or fully open? Allow the body to guide you. And one way for you to actually recognize that, to understand that there is a relationship taking place, there is a response, call and response taking place between your body and your intention, is while you're holding on to the intention, I want to meditate. I want to meditate. And then somewhere in the back of the mind, there's an understanding what meditation is supposed to be. And then you bring that whole into an awareness of the body. So like looking for how the body is responding, the legs. And you, if there is any need to change, you will feel an impulse to make a change. And you will know exactly what that impulse what that change should be. Some slight change, some big change. Or you may feel that you are already beginning to feel the meditative state in the legs themselves. That is a sense of quietness, a sense of pleasantness, the beginning stages. Then you bring that awareness to your torso. And this is where we make a lot of adjustments, because we want the spine to be erect and yet not too uptight. Then the arms from the shoulders to the fingers. The way you arrange your hands, it should be like a feedback loop. As soon as you bring awareness to the hands remind you that you're not just sitting here, okay? You're meditating. So arrange your hands in such a way that it creates that feedback loop for you. Then your head and neck should be in such a way that there is no conscious effort in holding them in place. They should be staying in place by themselves. And up to the head and neck, you should feel the same thing you started to feel in the legs, a sense of calm, a sense of pleasantness, signs that you're entering the meditative state. You're ready to fully enter. Now bring attention to the face, mouth, teeth, tongue. And then the eyes. And you can even sort of experiment. Should I have my eyes closed? Should I have my eyes open? Should I have my eyes somewhat open? And if it's somewhat open, should I be staring down, staring ahead? When you adopt the posture for the eyes, does it help with the meditation experience? Does it help deepen any of the signs, the calm, the pleasantness, the clarity, the radiance? The one that works best for you, in a sense that it gives you more of the sense that you're meditating, that is the right posture for your eyes, at least for this session. Tomorrow, open your eyes wide might be the best thing for you, or it could be forever. Whenever you meditate, that's the posture for you. So don't worry too much about what does the book say I should have my eyes be. So we've taken care of the posture. Now we're going to go into the intention. Make a determination, make a commitment to actually meditate right here, right now, like no backing down right now. So with that strong determination, we sort of sign a contract. Okay, I'm going to meditate now. We take a nice deep breath through the nose, breathe in, and then you can hold it for a second or two if you want, and then through the mouth, you breathe out. And as you breathe out through the mouth, you completely let go, let go, let go, let go. You may feel yourself having sunk a little bit deeper into the cushion. Let go, let go, let go, and stay with that momentum of letting go. When the breath returns normally, you just follow it. Let it be normal, let it be natural. And then you stay with that feeling, that momentum, that you're going deeper and deeper, deeper into what? Deeper into that calm, deeper into that pleasantness, deeper into that sense of the mind collecting itself, deeper into that sense of the mind becoming brighter, deeper into that sense of the mind becoming clearer, collected, malleable, bright. So you're going deeper and deeper into a sense of that emerging. Stay with that momentum, like you're on a vehicle. That momentum is your vehicle. It's taking you deeper and deeper into the meditative state. And once you've taken that deep breath, you know that you made that commitment. You know also that you've crossed the bridge. You are now in the meditative space. You must have that conviction. Don't worry about the things that are very familiar, things that you also experience outside of meditation. It's just like you go to a different state, you see a lot of things that are familiar, that you've seen in your own state. It doesn't mean that because you're seeing a Starbucks, you're still back in your neighborhood. Now you're seeing the Starbucks in that neighborhood, in that state. So in that same way, things that are familiar, consider them to be, oh, it's here also. You need encouragement throughout the process. It's the fuel to make us go deeper and deeper. Whatever that can encourage us, that gives us the conviction and confidence that we are doing exactly, we are experiencing exactly what we said to experience. We bring awareness to it. See, we are there. It's pleasant. So now let's stabilize and deepen. And there's so many ways you can do this entirely with your intention to do so, or you can do with a psychosomatic way where you connect some activity with that. And the breath is the easiest thing to go to. So we're going to stabilize. That is, be aware of, yeah, there's that sign I'm meditating. There's that other sign that I'm meditating. We're going to stabilize ourselves in those signs. So while being aware of them, having that conviction that we are in meditation, witnessing that we are going deeper and deeper and deeper, still in that momentum, we stabilize, intention to stabilize with a 3 deep breath. Breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, exhale through the mouth, and then you also go into letting go, letting go, letting go. Okay, together through the nose, gently, fully breathe in, and then like diving. And let the breath come back on its own. Don't force it to go too long. Don't force it to come back too soon. There might even be a pause. Don't worry about stretching the pause or cutting the pause. When the breath naturally comes back, let it naturally come back. And as it comes back, stay aware of where that deep breath took you into, and try to stay there. How deeper is the calm? How deeper is the pleasantness? How deeper is a sense of clarity? All those different signs that you're in meditation, energetically. And now for the second, stabilizing breath through the nose, gently, fully. And again, yeah, good. Now try to stay with that sensation that you're deeper. Whatever is giving you that sensation, whatever is communicating that to you, stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it as you breathe in. And then and take a moment to sort of acclimate yourself to this new space, rejoicing, witnessing any measure of the signs. And if visions or some sort of perception connected to any of your senses, whether you're hearing a new sound, you're seeing colors, you're seeing visions, you're feeling warm sensation, you're feeling tingling sensation. Sometimes some people feel the body swaying even though they know they're still. So that's considered to be that sign that I'm deeper. And noticing those signs, rejoice. Noticing the enhancement in the calm, and noticing enhancement in the pleasantness as they are slowly enhancing, becoming stronger and stronger. That pleasantness is going to eventually become bliss. The calm is eventually going to become utter peace, utter tranquility. Those very sensations, that's what's going to transform into pure luminosity and pure spaciousness of clarity. So stay with them, rejoicing. And gently bring your attention to the space in front of you at the level of your eyebrows. Wherever you want to place your attention, whether away from you at that level, or even closer and closer, or even the exact sensation of the forehead. Wherever in that space you feel drawn to bring your attention there. And as you bring your attention there, notice a sensation in the forehead. So some people it's tingling, some people it's warm, some people it's even cold, some people it's pulsing. So whatever is the sensation that's there. So, and sometimes it comes and then it goes away. And this is where this is perceiving light. So some people begin to see light there. So whether it's a physical sensation, a sense of perceiving something because you just brought your attention there, immediately rejoice. Oh, that's another sign that I've gone deeper. This is a sign of my mind actually collecting itself. And you could do a meditation where that's all you do. You reach this point and you just keep going deeper. Review the signs, rejoice, and relax. Whenever you notice any one of those signs having gone deeper, you go towards it, you rejoice. That could be a meditation in itself. But we're going to do a little something here that we've been doing all the time. So in that space, begin to think, one of these days, one of these lifetimes in the future, I am going to be fully awakened. I'm going to be existing, experiencing my full and abiding in my full potential. Since that potential is beyond time and space, in a sense, that potential could actually be here right now. It would be wonderful to be able to encounter that potential, the me that is fully enlightened. And you make that stronger and stronger and stronger until it becomes an urge you want to encounter your future enlightenment, your definite future awakening. And begin to feel, for those of you who have not seen light, maybe all of a sudden you see a point of light. For those who have seen light, maybe the light starts to take a certain different quality to it. Or the sensation gets a bit stronger, a bit sharper. So whatever the sensation, consider to be, my enlightened, future enlightened self has heard me, because it is beyond time and space. It can communicate to me. And what can it communicate to me? I know exactly what you did to become me. I'm going to tell you right here, right now. So have your sort of all of your being ready to listen. How is it? How did I stop being bothered by that guy, by that lady, by those people, by those events? How did I finally arrive at a place where I'm no longer bothered by this kind of news and that kind of news? What did I do? Because the potential is within me. How did I lose all inhibitions to fully love and fully have compassion and to live fully in that power? What did I do to have intimacy with reality where we are no longer separate? that future enlightened you has the answer because you'd achieved it. So what can you do right here, right now to achieve that? So you begin to relate with that in such a way that it is real. Your potential is really in front of you. You're feeling it, you're seeing it, you're sensing it. And relate with it in such a way that the relating is sort of communicating to the rest of your being. We're not imagining, we're not just imagining, we are in actual communication with our future enlightenment. So ask your future enlightenment to teach you, to guide you, to protect you. Feel a sense of deep respect. This is the self that if you were that self, you yourself would fully respect. So let that sense of respect fully emerge. Feel it. That sense of trust. If you were that self that can be fully trusted, here it is in front of you. So allow that sense of trust to emerge. Since this is not some other person that you feel entitled to, you feel indebted to, this is your own self. So definitely it will guide you properly. You don't have to be worrying about being deceived. So that means the guidance will be certain. So feel gratitude, a gratitude that, you, just like we have gratitude and conviction in Amazon. We go to on our computer, we type a code, and then we have the conviction that the thing we ordered will arrive. We have a sense of relief, a sense of gratitude to ourselves that we've done it, even though the thing is not there yet. So that's in that same way. We've made the request. We are going to achieve that. So express gratitude for the guidance that you seek that will get you there. Express gratitude for that protection that you seek that will get you there. Now, this is a bit more energetic thing. If you don't have what people refer to as energetic feeling, now, if you have a sense of energetic feeling in the forehead, now bring that energy, that sensation from the forehead to the crown of your head. And what's happening is that you're asking your enlightened self, future enlightened self, to come to crown you, to become your crown, to become the object that you always aspire to. And you feel the sensation or similar sensation that you felt in the forehead, now you feel it in the crown. And let that also be your, to help you gain conviction that indeed, what is gonna help me fulfill every high aspiration is now on top of my head. And then begin to feel its radiating presence. And its radiating presence is cleansing, healing. Let yourself be bathed in that cleansing shower of light. And as you're receiving the light, go strengthen that conviction that you're receiving exactly what you need to receive right here, right now. Have that conviction, have that sense of trust, have that sense of gratefulness, gratitude. So whatever it is that is happening in your life right here, right now, that is causing you concern, know that I am taking care of it in the most efficient way right here, right now. Then gently bring that bright presence. See it come down. Have the intention, I want to be inseparable with that guidance, with that protection, so that in those moments when I need it the most and I'm lost to distraction, to the demon of distraction, it can come and rescue me. So I want it to be in the very depth of my heart and slowly see that bright, see a spark of light descending. And as it descends, beautiful cooling rays of light are descending with it. And you feel yourself going deeper into the calm, deeper into the pleasantness, deeper into the clarity, deeper into the radiance, deeper into the collecting of attention. And when it finally arrives in the very center of your psychic heart, then it becomes even more radiant. And it's radiating light, radiating physically through you, radiating, making adjustments here and there, physically, making adjustment here and there, emotionally, making adjustments here and there, energetically, psychologically, helping you with your cognition, so cognition becomes clearer. So whatever it is that you need, it's sending healing light from your heart. And hold deeply to a sense of conviction. It is here in my heart, in my mind. The guidance I seek is within me. The protection I seek is within me. The resources that I need are within me. And let those kinds of thoughts go away and just relax in that space, noticing the signs. What space are you relaxing in? The calm, the pleasantness, the signs of clarity and radiance with the inner sensations, the sense of the mind somewhat collected, and rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. And get ready now to come out of the meditation. Just like we consciously go into meditation, we must also consciously come out of meditation. Once you make the intention to come out of meditation, we establish that we are indeed in meditation by noticing the signs. And then with the intention now to, okay, now let me come out. Just like we did before, we cross the bridge of the breath to go in. We also cross the bridge of the breath to come out. So with a nice deep breath through the nose, feel it, hear it. And through the mouth, breathe out. Feel it, hear it also. And then gently, slowly reconnect with your immediate surroundings. Reconnect to your sense of touch, noticing how you're sitting again, noticing the different sounds, and also noticing the different colors, the different shapes, the lights, and the shadows. Okay. Thank you. If your eyes were closed, you can open them. Oh, there's one thing I forgot. What did I forget? Okay. I forgot the ding. Okay, that was done. Okay. All right. So today I'm going to be quoting a lot. And what I'm going to be quoting from, I'm quoting mainly from the what may be called the Theravadan canon. Okay. The Pali text. It's not. I don't have a lot of them that I'm going to be quoting from. It's basically one sutta that I'm going to be quoting from. is going to talk about, and also I'll be referring to Tsongkhapa's text about as far as preparation is concerned. Now, before we get into that, remember that as a response to our trauma, the trauma of existing in samsara, that we created a mechanism thinking that it was a reactionary response to the trauma that we are experiencing as a samsaric life, with the intention to protect ourselves from that pain, from that trauma. We created the habit of distraction. And we can understand why we created the habit of distraction is because it was, you could say, awareness of something that is happening that we couldn't understand, and we were in pain. So we needed to get away from it. So one natural way of getting away from something, so that's what the exactly distraction is. Take your awareness away from it. Take yourself away from it. So with the intention to take ourselves away from the misunderstanding, the trauma that we are experiencing, we develop and we strengthen this distraction. The intention, there was nothing wrong with the intention. The unfortunate thing, the reason that we developed distraction is because, unfortunately, we had misunderstanding of the situation as a guide. And we're not talking about deep philosophical misunderstandings. We're talking about just regular old misunderstanding, such as something is happening to you as a baby. You don't understand the world, because you can understand it in that level of misunderstanding. You don't understand the world. Something is happening to you. You're supposed to be fed, and you're not fed. So that's, for you, that's trauma. And since it is something that is happening, it appears to be something that is happening that is causing the trauma. So you want to be away from what is happening. So we begin to develop distraction. And as we grow older and older, this can go, the baby can be many lifetimes ago. I'm not talking about something that happened to you as a baby many lifetimes ago is necessarily controlling you now. When I say baby a long time ago, I mean the formation of this habit happened many. You don't necessarily have to stay with just this life. You can also include other lives in it, okay? But if you don't want to go include other lives, you can just stay with this life. As we grow older and older and older, what we are doing, since that was what we thought was the correct way of dealing with trauma, is distraction. So we begin to strengthen our capacity to be distracted, to the point where distraction has become so autonomous that we just find ourselves just under its mercy. We don't have to call, we don't have to do something and then call upon distraction. Distraction is there, ready to seemingly help us whenever we encounter triggers, whenever we encounter situations that we find difficult to be with. Okay. So that's where distraction came from. Now, this along with the distraction comes a bunch of other things. Okay. So the main thing is distraction. We are distracted. And how do we begin the process of no longer being under the power of being distracted? How do we do that? And that's what the practice of shamatha comes in. So shamatha is the practice of eventually arriving at a place, at a state of mind where we are no longer capable of being distracted. Okay? That is just like the mind has now a natural tendency of being distracted. That is not the nature of the mind. it's a habit that we develop. We can also train our responses so that we are no longer not only we don't even have the potential to be distracted anymore. Okay. And once we reach that place where we have become imperturbable, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly because it sounds like a fancy word I should be saying. Basically saying we have arrived at a place where it is impossible for us to be distracted. Yes, it is possible to achieve a state of being, a state of being able to attend to the world where it is impossible for us to be distracted. So that state of being able to be impossible to be to be distracted has various ways of various dimensions to it. Okay. Now, so that means the training to get to that state is basically a training of disempowering that capacity, that tendency to be distracted, taking the energy that we have invested in it because of trauma, responding to trauma, and we want to take that energy back. So we are no longer subjected to being distracted. In the preparation, I may not necessarily go too deep into preparation, do this, do this, do this, do that, but I'm going to go into the why the preparations. Okay, once you understand why the preparations, then even though there's a step in the preparation that you don't fully understand, you will at least try it out so you can discern how that preparation is actually helping us to becoming less prone to distraction. And remember, distraction is not just I'm sitting, I'm trying to visualize the perfect color of violet, and then the sound in the room is distracting me. The memory of something that happened in the back is distracting. That is the easiest distraction to deal with, okay? The real distraction is when in life something is happening and we are triggered and we are no longer being able to be in the present moment. We are thrown back into how we reacted way back then when we were a baby, way back then when we were a toddler, way back then when we were a teenager. Okay, we are no longer the present person. We are some person in the past. Okay, that's the real distraction we are really training ourselves in, and that's the distraction that we really have to pay attention to. Okay, so the preparation. One of the most important preparation is aspiration. That is, we must see how distraction is ruining us, is ruining our relationships with the people we care, the people we love. It is ruining how we are responding to the world that we live in. It is ruining us. Every single thing that is happening in your life that you can say is an unpleasant or unwanted experience, you can say it is the tendency to being distracted that is the cause of that. So once you start to really basically look at your life as it is and recognize the aspect of your life that that needs attention, that needs transformation. If we don't see them for what they are, we will not arrive at a decision that they need transformation. And any attempt to transform them will be half-hearted, will not be sincere. But when we see, definitely this needs transformation. I don't want to continue to live like this, that whenever so-and-so says, aha, and I'm thrown back to being a little boy and I am all curled up under a seat somewhere. I don't want to continue like this anymore. I don't want to continue when some people, when I see intimacy coming over because of the trauma that some experience in intimacy started with me. Now I react in such a way that I think I want intimacy, but I'm actually doing everything I can to make sure I don't have it. Okay, so this is what distraction is doing to us. When we recognize that, this is what it's doing to us, what it's doing to me. And you start to fantasize about what life would be like without this, without being under the sway of distraction. Problems will come. It will not throw me off. I'll be able to maintain my center and be able to deal with it effectively and be able to deal with it in a way that is also immediate. Okay, dealing with it effectively doesn't necessarily mean that we take the problem goes away, but we're not thrown off center. We don't go deeper into our trauma. Okay, but we are able to remain centered and be able to have clear vision. That's the problem. That's the cause of the problem. I have to deal with the cause. Okay, let me remove the cause. Let me deal with the cause this way. That we want to be able to have that clarity. Okay. So in all the ways that you can consider, what would life be without distraction? You start to aspire to them, and you start to want to have a mind one day that is no longer the slave of distraction. That is, I would say, the most important preparation ever, is to get to that place where you really want shamatha. You have to really want it. If you don't really want it, whatever effort you make, like as the Master Atisha said, even if you spend 1,000 years doing everything that you think you're supposed to be doing to get to shamatha, you're never going to get shamatha, okay? But if you prepare yourself, and this is the most important preparation, and even if you have just this preparation, if for some reason internet shuts down and I can't continue, or it shuts down on you and then you missed everything, but if you heard this one, really want shamatha, see what the opposite of it is, how is it ruining your life, and see how the actual achievement of it will help you have a more meaningful, more fulfilled life. And you really, really want it, and you deserve it, okay? And once you've done that as a preparation, and then understand a lot of the other steps are, there are ways to help facilitate the achievement of shamatha. Okay, you have to understand that there are things in our minds right now that are active. That's why we don't have shamatha. It's not that shamatha is absent in our minds, but rather there is present in our minds things that are going against shamatha. They're already there. Okay, and what we need to do, we need to deal with the things that are already there that are preventing us from experiencing shamatha. And what are those things? The preparations that we do are ways of dealing with them. Like, taking a hammer and chisel and sort of slowly taking away those things that are there that are preventing you from experiencing what you want to experience, which is shamatha. So that's what the preparation is doing. Okay. So the things are there is mainly things governed by distraction. So that means our minds have become extremely proficient at distracting us. There are gross ways of distracting us, and there are subtle ways of distracting us, of being distracted. And there are so many different varieties of how it does that. It does that with attachment. It does that with aversion. It does that with confusion. Okay. And let me go back a little bit. Remember, the reason that the intention that created distraction, there was nothing wrong with the intention. It was that we had bad information. We had bad understanding to work with, to be able to really help that intention to be fulfilled. So we work with what we had, bad information. And what happens when you work with bad information? We end up with trouble. But the intention was nothing wrong with the intention. Okay. So going back to that intention, wanting to arrive at a place where you can say of tranquility, that, you know, when the thing happened, we felt disturbed. We were pushed from a sense of center. What we wanted to do was to go back to that center, but we had bad information. We had no idea what's the center that we were in, what it was, but we just know that we were in a place, and now we are experiencing something different from it, and we want to go back to it. And that we want to go back to is tranquility. What we want to go back to is calm. What we want to go back to is shine, abiding in calm, our natural state. The trauma shook us from our natural state, and we want to go back to the natural state, but we were misguided. We end up not in a natural state. Okay. So the pull that we feel from attachment, what does that create? That creates the kind of distraction that we encounter, where the mind tendency to go off here and there. What is the mind looking for when it goes here and there? It is looking for peace. And it knows peace is connected to some sort of, to some unpleasant experience. It knows peace is connected to some pleasant experience. So it remembered, wait a minute, when I ate that ice cream, I had a pleasant experience. Peace must be there. So the mind goes there. So the distraction that we are experiencing in terms of the mind running towards things is because the mind is convinced that, wrongly, of course, by going to those things, it will find peace. So when you notice your mind going, blah, 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 first recognize the intention behind that. Wait a minute, the mind is actually seeking something, is actually seeking peace. It's just seeking it in the wrong way. It's just misguided. Okay, so remind your mind that, hey, remember, going out there has not brought us peace, not once. So let's find peace somewhere else. Let's begin to find peace somewhere else. Okay, so to help us with that mode of being distracted through attachment, the mind going out looking for pleasure because it believes in pleasure it will find peace. One thing to do is to, in the meditation itself, as you're just beginning to meditate, you begin to notice pleasant feelings, pleasant sensations. So you sort of tell the mind, oh, remember the pleasantness you're looking for? It's not out there. Look, 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 it's in here. Look, it's in the breath. Doesn't the breath feel nice? Look in the breath. You will find what you're looking for. Not that stop looking, but rather what you're looking for is not where you're looking, but rather here. Okay? And it is that tendency of the mind looking for what it thinks is peace in pleasure. That's what creates distraction through attachment. That's the mind being very busy looking. Okay. And also there's a distraction created by things that we have experienced, like aversion. So the preparations are to basically help us redirect the mind so that it doesn't go outside to find the remedy, to find the peace that it's looking for, through the habit of being distracted. And by creating semblances of the peace within, we sort of helping the mind draw itself back. We're helping the mind stop being under the power of being distracted. Because being distracted doesn't fulfill what it promises. It doesn't give peace. So we remember things that really connect us to peace. That's what the elements of the preparations are for. So once you have that understanding of what the preparations are for, you can sort of create your own preparation. If you want some guidance of how to prepare preparations, there are these preparations given. But the thing is to understand why these preparations are there for. One thing that will help the mind not being prepare the mind so that it begins to reconnect with peace within is what that peace that we connect to with admiration. So bring in your environment, in the space that you're meditating, elements, objects that naturally evokes admiration. Your teacher, someone who inspires you, books that inspire you, and you arrange it in such a way that the very space that you arrange it in, that you're going to meditate in reminds you of peace. So that's why the space that you are meditating is, you're asked to pay attention to it, to arrange it in such a way that the habit of distraction will not be going outside of you, even outside of the space, but that the space itself can contain you, because it begins to remind you, because it's not cluttered, it is peaceful, it is clean, it has things in it that naturally evokes admiration from you. So that's, you prepare the space. Then you prepare your body. And the way you prepare your body is we be aware of what different food do to you, what different foods do to you. Remember, you're not a body and a mind trying to live with each other. Your body, mind, okay? Those things, what happens to the body affects the mind, what happens to the mind affects the body, okay? Your body, mind. You're not body and mind, your body, mind. So the food that you put in, the thing that you put in the body will affect the mind. And the thing that you habituate your mind to think, the thing that you habituate your mind to see, to review, to ponder, will affect the body also. So it's not just one way, it's both ways. So now you have to do something to the body so that the body, you can begin in a physical way, begin to touch peace. Sit in such a way that has two main ingredients: comfort and stability. These are the two main things. And allow the intelligence in your body to guide you as to how you can achieve comfort and stability in the body. The comfort and the stability will remind you of the peace and the natural joy that is what distraction is trying to get you to. But since it is here, distraction cannot say, oh, let's go find peace, because you say, I'm feeling it here in my body. I'm feeling a sense of peace in my body. I'm feeling a sense of joy in my body already. So by being aware of it, we are stopping the tendency of the mind to go out, to be distracted. And now we have to take care, once we take care of the body, we stabilize the breath. Remember, the breath is an indication of your state of, your emotional state, your mental state, as well as what's happening in your body, how they are something, it's a communication. So when it is at peace, it will help the mind find peace. When it is at peace, it helps the body find peace. When the body is at peace, stable, comfortable, stable, it also helps the breath find peace. So they're all these things are helping each other. First, you begin with the thing that is most obvious, most unmistakably connected to what you call reality, which is the body, your physical space. You make contact with something in there that connects you to peace. You make contact with something in your body that connects you to peace. You make contact with your breath, with something in your breath that connects you to peace. And that will help the mind in its own universe, in its own world, to connect to peace. And the rest of the preparations are mainly in the mind. But remember that they're also ricocheting in the body, ricocheting, also radiating some sort of thing in your environment. Okay. So you take care of the space, you take care of your body, and remember what you eat will affect how you meditate. There are some things that will help you, and there was something that will not help you. So pay attention to how your body responds to different kinds of food that you take. Okay. Sometimes it's just one ingredient. Okay. So pay attention to that. And now with the mind, remember this wanting to be free of the influences of distraction, to really achieve a place where not only are you're no longer capable of even being distracted. And it's a beautiful experience to touch even once when you witness yourself actually incapable of being distracted. Unless you actually have that experience, you will not really have an appreciation of what Shamatha will give. And once you are able to have that experience in your mind, you witness your mind as firm as a mountain, and you feel it. And you feel that this mind cannot be pushed around anymore. And you can have that taste as you are on the journey of establishing, fully realizing shamatha. And even before that, you may have a lot of doubts. And these are the things that are in our mind. We have doubt. We have habits of attachment. We have habits of aversion. We have all these habits in our minds. They are already present. So now in the mind, now we have to deliberately bring things that will begin to connect us to peace, so that the mind tendency to go look for it outside will be, at least in the beginning, be able to have some hold over that. So when we brought our attention to the space in front of us, and we begin to have that vision or begin to have that sensation, what we are witnessing at that moment is the capacity to consciously direct attention. And that is the thing that we want to exercise. Direct attention and hold it. Direct attention and hold it. And what does distraction does? It takes attention away. It makes our capacity to hold attention. It takes away the capacity to hold attention. Okay, that's what distraction mainly does. Okay, so what we are exercising, remember that what we're exercising, bring attention and holding it. But in order for us to hold attention, the thing must be interesting. The mind must have sense of being interested in it. So we have to develop interest in it. So in the preparation of bringing something that is interesting so we can witness bringing the mind somewhere and holding it there, we deliberately think of something that is very interesting to us. Of course, very interesting and very wholesome. Okay, we don't want to bring something interesting that only creates further distraction, strength and distraction, but something connected to the goal that we are seeking. So in the tradition, the way they address that is to make us think about someone that we venerate. Someone we venerate, someone we think as an example of what we want to achieve. And because this is someone that we really venerate, someone that we really have a sense of admiration for. Remember, in admiration, there is peace. In admiration, there's joy. So when you deliberately bring that sense in that space in front of you, then you begin to collect your mind. Your mind is beginning to be collected. And as the mind is beginning to be collected, it begins to experience measures of peace. It begins to experience measures of joy. And because you are aware of the joy that is present, because you're aware of the peace that is present, then the tendency of distraction its power is becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. Okay, so in the very beginning, always deliberately being awareness to, look at the peace measure of peace I'm experiencing. Look at the measure of joy that I'm experiencing. It's okay to have your mind talk about what is actually happening in the meditation. Actually, this is what is referred to as analytical meditation. Okay, analytical meditation is not necessarily trying to decipher E equals MC square. Okay, that's what analytical meditation is. Analytical meditation is your mind running on something. Running on what? Look at the peace that I'm experiencing. Wow, that's a nice peace. Look at this joy I'm experiencing. Oh, it's because of the breath. Look at the breath. So that's analytical meditation also. Okay. So we bring this tendency of the mind, we deliberately take hold of it and we direct it towards some object that we admire. Look at my teacher. Look at this person. He has this kind of quality, he has that quality, he has this quality. Wow. And then as you are reviewing that, you go, wow, yeah, wow, where, yeah. And that tendency for the mind to be distracted is losing power. You're touching more peace, you're touching more peace, you're touching more joy, touching more joy. Why? Because of the object of admiration. Then you relate with that object of admiration. It's not just a memory, but you relate with it. You deliberately bring up emotions, bring up feelings that are because of the presence of the object that you admire. And what emotions will help? Emotions of trust. You deliberately bring up trust. I trust this object. I trust this person. You deliberately bring sense of gratitude. I'm very grateful to this person for what they have done, for what they have brought to my life. So you continue and you have a conversation with that person. That's the mind, blah, 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 but it's blah, blah, blah in a focused way. It's not blah, 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 thinking about something like cheeseburger, McDonald's, whatever. Does that exist still? So your mind is not distracted that way anymore, because your mind is focused on something that your mind is interested in. You have genuine admiration for this object. You're genuinely relating with that object. Your respect that you feel, in whatever way that you can show your respect, you can make it into a poetry. You can spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 1 second, just bring it up. Okay, bring up the sense of admiration, sense of reverence, sense of gratitude, and then the conviction that this person is trustworthy, this person can guide me, this person can protect me from what, guide me through what. You think of these things, and that's deliberately relating. So what are you doing with this deliberate relating? You're not being distracted. Distraction is no longer there. It's sitting next to you, wondering, okay, all right. When's it gonna be my turn to take this guy out of here? This person out of here. He's just waiting. But as long as you continue to, wow, look at what I'm looking at. Look what I'm looking at. Look what's here. Look what's in front of me. And you're relating in ways that says that because you're relating, you're telling your mind this is real. I'm not just imagining it. It's real, because we only relate with what we sense is real. So you relate with reverence, you relate with gratitude, you relate with having conversation. This is what I need, last night when I was trying to meditate, this thing kept coming up. Can you give me a little hint as to what I need to do? Or at work, when so-and-so said so-and-so, I felt so disturbed. Can you give me a little hint as to what I need to do? Not that you don't wait for an answer to come right then, but just the thing is to have a conversation, relate, okay? I said I was gonna quote. Let me see, do I have enough time? Okay, we have a little bit of time. All right, it's not gonna be a long thing. It's not 5 pages. Okay. So we sort of talk about those kinds of things. Now I really want to go into what the Buddha sort of mentioned as preparation. Okay. So one thing that will help the habit of not doing what you know is right. What is right? That which, when you do it, it ultimately benefits you and others, or you. without harming anyone. Okay, that is what is right, or what is virtue is supposed to be. So when we distraction will make us engage ourselves in things that are non-virtuous. That is, things that when we do it, they don't benefit us, they don't benefit other people, or if it benefits one or two, someone gets harmed in the process. Okay, that's what distraction leads us to. That's what non-virtue. So when we deliberately, consciously try to be virtuous, that is a preparation. Why? Because there's something that is happening in the mind that we're not aware of, some of us, and for some of us it's unconscious, for some of us it's conscious. It is guilt. We all have it, it's a measure. And there's a constant sense of blaming myself, blaming myself, blaming myself. Why? It's obvious. I try to do X, I try to achieve peace. Instead, I created a war. Of course, you're gonna feel guilty about that. And then this guilt is a block to achieve shamatha. And what does that guilt comes from? I did something that I feel I was not supposed to do. In my gut, it was harmful. It harmed me. It harmed so and so. It harmed us both. It harms the environment. We witnessed the harm that it had done, and that witnessing of the harm that it has done creates that guilt in our minds. And that guilt doesn't just go away; it sits there. It covers the nature of our mind. It prevents us from achieving shamatha. So to deal with that, we have to consciously, not just when you're sitting down to meditate, in your everyday life, when you're relating with people, seek to be virtuous, so that one day you will achieve what the Buddha says is, endowed with this noble aggregate of virtue, this person is inwardly sensitive to the pleasure of being blameless. So blameless creates this euphoric thing within you. I'm sure Kathy will one day show us the scientific thing about this, that when you are virtuous, you're actually creating chemicals in your brain that makes you experience some sort of pleasure, a pleasantness. And metaphysically speaking, because the virtue is what takes us to our true nature, and our true nature is pleasant, is blissful. So as we approach our true nature slowly and slowly, we begin to feel the wave of pleasure. Okay, so that's what it means to be consummate in virtue. And because we are consciously trying to be virtuous, that naturally takes away the blame that is blocking us from achieving shamatha. Okay, and don't worry, I'm not going to be too long. Okay, and here is where the Buddha talks about mindfulness as a preparation. Mindfulness in the sense that whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, just be aware of it. Okay, that stops, that put a clamp, that takes away the power of being distracted. Okay, just being mindful in your everyday, and that mindfulness, keeping the attention on what is going on. Okay, that's the training. All right. And here we doubt, confusion, anxiety, these are already within us. And the preparations that we do is to help us deal with them, put them aside, so that the main meditation, the main practice is not disturbed too much. Okay. Okay, yes, there it is. What is, you don't like this one? Okay. Remember, I said that as you are slowly going towards your natural state, which is bliss, we begin to experience little taste of it. Okay. And this is how we begin to experience little taste of it. So when we finally achieve a place where because we have somewhat free of distraction and the minions of distraction, that itself, that freedom naturally gives rise to, like when we witness it, that I am free from those tendencies, naturally become glad. And when the mind naturally becomes glad, then it goes to a greater state of euphoria. And then this is just a nice English words trying to make it basically eventually going towards some great blissful state. Okay, so glad, enraptured, and then tranquility. And then finally, after tranquility, some sort of bliss, tranquil bliss. And then with this bliss, finally arrive at shamatha. Okay, so how we get to shamatha, which is this natural peace, a place where that it is that you feel in your body, in your mind, a peace and a joy that cannot be disturbed. Okay, simply by doing the preparations, and the preparations help us put aside those things in our minds that are keeping us from experiencing shamatha. By putting them aside, by putting them to rest, by making them dormant, we start to naturally feel a kind of euphoria. Like when we are, for example, in the preparation, like you're communicating to your to the person, your teacher that you admire. And you sort of open your heart. You say, "This is what I've done. This is what I feel guilty about. I've done this." You open your heart. You and you feel remorse. That itself frees you from blamelessness. And being free of that blamelessness, you start to experience a kind of a joy, and that joy will slowly build up, build up, build up. So in the preparation, the reason for sort of what is a confessing, opening your heart, is to deal with the blameless, the sense of being blamed, the guilt. I call it dysfunctional guilt. And when we make that go to sleep, right now we're not able to get rid of it entirely. Okay, but we may go to sleep, then we eventually arrive at this natural peace. And simultaneously with achieving shamatha, once we achieve shamatha, that is, it's no longer something that we are touching, we are tasting, but actually something that we're able to enter into at will. Even when we are not sitting down to meditate, the benefits of shamatha will continue. And one of them is that we will no longer experience mental fatigue. We will no longer experience what you might call a lack of enthusiasm. Okay. I think I've gone 3 minutes over. I didn't quote. I didn't go too much into the quote, but I gave you the essence of it. I don't need to go any further. Okay. I know some of you who have already, great scholars who have already studied the preparation. You were waiting for me to say the 6 this, the 5 that, the 7 this. Well, I did say them without having to say this is 1, this is 2, this is 1A, this is 1B. Okay, I said them. And once you understand them that way, and when you go back to the list, then you will understand why that's included in there. What is it trying to address? And once you understand what it's trying to address, if the specific method that you were given is not working for you, then maybe you can come up with your own method. Okay. Like, for example, the way we are told is to visualize this. It's called a refuge tree. A lot of us didn't grow up in a in a culture where we from a baby these things had any meaning for us. Only just recently they give us a picture and say, hey, these are holy people, and you're supposed to say, oh yeah, they're holy people because you just show me the picture. No, but the emotion that it invoked in those people who grew up in that culture, that's what they want you to invoke within you to help you. Okay, so populate in front of you those things, those people, those personalities that evokes that emotion for you, because it is that emotion that will be helpful. Okay, and if you don't have anyone, think of an ideal person, the ideal person that you want to be. Okay, all right then, that's it. No more. Since nobody's asking questions, that means I'm gonna go.
Yes, I was, and you were talking about in the tradition, we see a master or somebody that we venerate in a way. There is any other examples? Have to be always to reach for this person? Then it has to be somebody that is alive or not alive, or can it be some other kind of an object?
Yes, it doesn't necessarily have to be an object. Doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It could be an idea that you genuinely feel admiration when you bring that idea to your mind. And the main point of it is it's not the idea. The main point of it is not the person, but rather what it brings in you. That's what you're really trying to get to. And the person and the thing or the idea is a way of getting to that. If you can just with your will bring that sense of admiration without anything, then you're all set already. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and thank you for the question. Or it could be what you envision your enlightened state would be. It doesn't necessarily have to be accurate, just a sense of it because of the emotion that it brings up.
Can I, for example, think as an ideal of some environment or climate change ideas, and then that can be part of it, for example?
Oh, you said an idea like you said climate change,
like to be focused on things that can be done for to change the situation of the problems with the climate, the change of the climate and the problems in that is well, of course, analytically think about the problems of that is created in the world, but at the same time thinking on the possibilities of changing that.
Oh yeah, the possibilities of changing. Yeah. You definitely don't want to be thinking of just a problem, right? But rather the condition that would be once that problem is gone. Like for example, like you said, the possibility. Wow, how wonderful it would be if we all finally got together and then we change the course of the destructive course that we're going through, and then you admire that and you want to embody what's involved in that process. Yeah, and you venerate it, and it's something that you venerate, something that you be grateful for. Okay. All right. I think for once, we're actually going to end on time. Is it exactly? I'm not sure. As promised time. All right. So we will, thank you. We will do the closing meditation for now. Okay. And from what I've given you, you can say, there seems like there's a part even 10. The way he's going, there's probably a part 10. Forget about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe. Okay, so understand meditation, the means through which we come to abide in our natural state. Abiding in that and then getting there. make the intention to meditate. And once you made the intention to meditate, try, if you can, remember your previous experience, the depth, the measure to which you were experiencing some taste of the meditation. And just remember it. Recall it. My body felt that way. My breath was that way. Energetically, I felt this way. My mind was this way. And just remember and remember. And then merely through the remembering, you begin to have a sense of tasting it. And once you have that taste, so you want to sort of stabilize that taste. Remember how to stabilize, either with just your will or using the breath. So we're going to use just one deep breath. Intention to stabilize deeply, gently through the nose, breathe in. And through the mouth. And at the natural end of that breath, stay where that breath took you. Feel the more enhanced sense of the calm, the pleasantness. Be aware of us. But begin with a genuine sense of us by looking at your personal us. You have feet, you have hands. They seem separate, and yet together they function as one. They are your us. When your right hand needs problem, it doesn't ask your left hand. Your left hand goes to help, and your left hand doesn't think I'm helping the right hand, but rather I'm helping myself. So keep that sense of us. And in that sense of us, now think of us gathered here in this virtual community. Now think of everyone as sitting in your room, in your space, in a circle, and begin to feel that sense of us, that instinct of the right hand helping the left. Feel that instinct of you helping someone else, and it's helping us. And as that sense of us gets strong, a bright light begins to appear in the very center of our circle. And as that sense of us gets stronger, that light becomes brighter, it becomes wider. And we feel a ray of light connecting our hearts to the very center of that presence. And we are empowering the us, and the us is empowering us. So we are help in strengthening each other. And the sense of us gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And as it gets stronger, that bright light gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and it expands even more and more. And as it expands, whatever it touches becomes us. So it touches everyone in your home. It touches your neighbors. It touches your pet. It touches the grass. It touches your whole neighborhood. The grass, the trees, the sky, the clouds continues to expand your entire country, expands the entire earth. And if you sense in a realistic way, if you want to continue to include the entire universe, you can, but if you stay with the earth, just stay with the earth. And now bring that instinct of the left going to help the right, or the right going to help the left, without thinking I'm helping me, I'm helping us. So you feel the trees are us. To help the trees is to help us. To help the ocean is to help us. To help your friend is to help us. To help your neighbors to help us. To help the Republicans is to help us. To help the Democrats is to help us. The liberals, to help them is to help us. until there's a sense of everyone is included and the sense of us is palpable towards everyone. The trees, the sky, the mountains, the flying birds, every life, everything on the planet, in the universe is us. And with that, strengthened, now we no longer need this vision for the us. We're able to hold on to the us without the vision, and the big bright ball of light begins to contract. And wherever it leaves a trace of itself. It leaves it shining until it again comes to the very center of our circle. And each one of us is shining because we were touched by that brightness of us. And we feel confident by helping me in a real way, I'm helping us. And when I go to help us, I'm helping me. And get ready to come out of the meditation. Witness yourself abiding in the signs of you are in some measure in a meditative state. Rejoice. Feeling the signature of your meditation directed towards fulfilling an objective with a dedication. And if you wish, you can recite this one. Gewati kyoken Sönam yeshe tsodzok shin Sönam yeshe lechungwe Tamba gunye tobar sho. So you can dedicate it to whatever it is that is of sincere concern to you, whether it's personal or whether it's for someone you know. And get ready to come out of the meditation. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, out the mouth. And as you reconnect deliberately with your immediate surroundings, be aware of the contacts through your sense of touch, your sense of hearing, sense of smell, and sense of sight. Noticing colors, shapes, noticing lights, noticing shadows, and smiling. Thank you so much.